Well, howdy, howdy. This is Cubbypotamus, and it's a great day because we are looking at new pots. Now, a few months back, I was talking to a young man, a very lonely guy, and he is wanting connection, wanting friendship, but just expressing how, I guess, just desperately he wants to help people. And I think that's a beautiful thing, But, he had all these ideas about, things that he wanted to do for people and how to help them and all that, And I think that he was wanting something less that he could want so much better. And I asked him, well, if someone were to help you, what would that look like? And he hemmed and hawed a little bit, and I said, wouldn't that look like someone being your friend? Right? I mean, you talk about how you're so lonely and how you want to help people, but maybe the best thing that we can do for people most of the time is to just be their friend. Right? And to have friendship. And he's like, yeah, that's exactly right, And, so much of the time we think, oh, we'll give them food baskets or do this or that, and we're going way out of the way when we could go there directly so much easier, right? If you're helping someone, at least especially with their emotional needs, then probably they just want love, right? And making hard for friends is hard for him. Well, how do you make friends and stuff, Well, you make friends by making your presence enjoyable, right? It's not about what you give people or, say your gifts and stuff. You make friends because people want to be around you. And today I'm going to start teaching how to make people want to be around you, how to people, right? Now, what is peopling? It's more than just daily interaction, or how to do stuff, Peopling centers around the idea of knowing how to make people feel things, right? Now, if you saw that Soft White Underbelly video and you liked it, a big part of probably why you liked it so much is because I was peopling, right? I was doing the same things that I do to make friends, right? And it works the same way in real life. People want to feel things, and, well, how do you just make people feel things? Well, you make people feel things in the same way that you make a mirror show your reflection. Right? I mean, we make people glow by shining on them, right? Think of like the glow-in-the-dark stuff. You shine a light on it, put it in the dark, it glows back. Well, that's how you make people glow, right? 90% of communication is nonverbal, and I cannot stress this fact too much, right? Remember, it was last year, and I was in this gas station, and this really nice black lady, and, she was talking just a little bit, just saying hi or showing genuine, just a little concern for people. But my God, she glowed. She's just this wonderful fucking presence about her, and, you just see her, that kind of person, and you're like, oh, I want to show them pictures of my kids and my dogs and stuff, so they'll put a little gold star and they'll like me, You just want to be around so much. She fucking glowed. But if someone else said the same words that she did, it would not have the same effect at all. Right? That's peopling, right? And you can learn how to make people feel good in your presence and feel close to you and open up, you know. When you're peopling, right, people want to share stuff with you. They want to share their secrets. They want to be close to you. And a beautiful thing is it's really easy. It is stupid simple how to do this, right? I guess the first thing you need to start thinking about is that, 90% of communication is nonverbal. Well, what does that mean? Now, well, that means that you're saying things to people all the time, right? And those words have a whole lot more weight than your language does, right? And how do you make that language work? Well, I'm just going to kind of describe it as you're sharing your presence with someone, right? And, you're sharing your feelings and stuff. You're expressing yourself through your body language and nonverbal things. So whatever situation you are in, think of what you are saying with your body language. If you are closed up, if you are far away, you're saying something. If you won't look them in the eyes, you're saying something. If you come close, you're saying something. And that's what you need to worry about. If you do the 90% right, the 10%, it just happens. It just happens. Now, to people, good peopling is a lot like love. Love is giving and it is free. Right? You are giving your good feelings, your good vibes and stuff, and you're asking nothing in return. And when people feel that you're asking nothing in return, it scares them because they're afraid of hurting you. Okay, so how do you do the magic? Well, the single biggest thing you can do, by far, and it's hard and easy at the same time, it's eye contact. It is impossible, not even possible, to overstate the importance of good eye contact. Right? To the man who's told me about how he has a wife and 3 kids, and he feels lonely all the time, come home, get close to your wife, and just look her in the eyes, or wherever you are, if you got someone you like, or comfortable with, spend some time looking in their eyes, right? How do you feel? Right? Looking in the people in the eyes is very honest, and it's very close, right? And, it's not too much or too little, right? You need to learn to read them and know when to look and when to pull apart, but that's the thing, right? And some people say to autistics to just look at their chin. I disagree. I don't think you can get the kind of connection from not looking straight into their eyes, right? You look, what does that feel like, right? You want that feeling. It's intense, right? And you feel a little naked, but there are things that just work pretty well. And, right, you want your body language to come close, right? You want maybe just a little grin or something, but not too much of a smile. Smiles are very important, but don't smile too big. Don't act like you're smiling to make them smile back, right? Just kind of a little smirk, or if you feel really happy, let me try this one on for size. Do you feel uncomfortable now? Do you see people smiling like that? Feel very uncomfortable. That is a needy smile, right? So yeah, and that's something you just need to work on, right? To just give a quick smile and good eye contact and come close to them and even touch, you know. You know, that's where it all starts, you know. Learn that feeling, right? When you can feel them. It is very simple and amazingly powerful. Right? Now, good peopling, it's giving and free, right? And ask nothing in return. So a part of good people is pulling back. It's distance. Right? A mistake I see that people make way too much is they like, you know, get to know someone, they like them too much. They bump it up too fast, they get too serious too soon or whatever, they escalate too quickly and then you can't de-escalate, you know. You know, and it's very important to just give it time and air, you know. That's why you don't want to reply too soon or whatever, because you want to wait till they are ready to see you again, right? You want to wait till they want you, even though you feel like you really want to talk to them. You know, you can ruin about any relationship you want. It'll never get started if you come on too strong, right? And another important thing about peopling is not to try too hard and not to be too good. You know, if you're a little too nice, it makes people kind of uncomfortable. It feels needy, right? And it's not genuine. You know, I got plenty of bad parts of me. I get angry at the pin racks being in the wrong spot or whatever, you know. I'm sure at work I sound quite colorful, you know. And I got my problems. I got my flaws, you know. And if you act like you're too pure or whatever, then that makes people uncomfortable because they can't be themselves, right? So you got to temper that shit. You know, it's like the angels on the shoulder. One shoulder I got Mr. Rogers, and the other shoulder I got Jack Nicholson. You know, I'm kind of a mix of those two. So, punctuate, right? Flirt, find creative ways to just bring stuff up. So, like, I was at a craft fair, you know, and here's some of the things I do to lighten the mood, right, and invite people in with my orneriness, right? So I saw a big pelt, you know, and skin or whatever, and I didn't know what it looked like, and I'm like, wow, did you skin a giant guinea pig for that? Or woman had these wreaths made of lassos, and I'm like, well, I bet you were on a ranch. Did you rope a giant chicken? You know, use nonverbal things to be interesting. I gotta spit out my gum. I go up to the trash basket. There's a woman sitting right there. And I just look at her. She looks back. I look at her. And spit the gum into the trash can. And then just walk away, right? It's finding little irreverent things like this. And you can borrow this one, you know. People ask you how you are. Well, I ain't dead yet. How you? You know, they laugh and they're like, well, me neither. And be like, well, isn't that a lot better than the alternative, you know? And if I was, they'd have to be wheeling me around in a cart. It'd be like Weekend at Bernie's, you know. Catch people off guard, you know, and learn to observe stuff and make witty jokes about that, right? You know, and I guess, and another huge thing, right, if they're reflecting you, right, then you want to give them good emotions so they can reflect that back, right? Well, if you're going to do that, you need to entertain yourself, not them. You're not trying to entertain them. You're trying to amuse yourself, and they see that on you and feel that. You know, when you try to entertain them, you're asking something, right? You know, and you need to get in your own head and just wax poetic. Get in your mind. Get in those thoughts and feel those thoughts, right? And if you're making eye contact and stuff and you're speaking with your full brain and accessing those beautiful things, they will feel that, right? And you start out with a little eye contact and kind of watch how they respond, you know, and add more or less, you know, just absolutely essential. And when you can bring beautiful emotions, they are going to feel that and they'll feel good. Another thing is you know, people say I have a real problem with confidence and stuff, you know. And the big problem is people like, oh, I'm going to make a friend, and oh, I stay in my head. Oh, I want to go over there and say this. Oh, I want this person. Oh, I want that. Good peopling happens in real time, right? And you interact with people in real time, you know. It's not in your head in fantasies, right? In your head in fantasies, you pick out the most popular or beautiful or interesting person. Good peopling, you can feel that about just regular people, right? When you go up to someone and say howdy and look them deeply in the eyes, right, you'll feel a connection for them, right? And you can start laughing and stuff, and you just met them, that will flavor everything for going forward, right? And the goal isn't to be their friend, right? We want to make goals, but these goals are very simple, right? Okay, my goal is I want to make this person smile. You know, and how do you do that? Well, just kind of come up and give them a look and give them a smirk and look away, you know, and they'll probably smile back. Mission accomplished, right? And from that point, you can say, I want to talk to them a little, right? And, you know, make a witty observation or even, you know, just say howdy, but keep in your mind, right? It's the way you feel that they're responding to. It is not your words. Your words don't matter. It's them looking you in the eyes and feeling you when, you know, you're open and your body language is open. Don't come in open body language, right? You're going up to this person, you're thinking, I'm going to warm them up with my body language. Focus on that. Mirror them, right? You know, if their hand comes up here, then you just slowly kind of come up there with them. Non-discreetly, you know. Focus on that. Focus on that, right? And so you just start with small goals, you know. But your ultimate goal is, and always should be, is I want to enjoy this, right? And you just start really small, right? You know, you start smiling at people, you glow at them, they glow back, and that feels good. And that's where you start, right? Learn to appreciate that. Learn to feel that. Learn to get more of that, because that is the essence of charisma. That's all it is. You know, it's that physically, look in the eyes, that physical stuff, they feel that. That is the essence of it all. And it is incredibly simple, right? So you want to feel them that, make them feel that way. And you want them to understand that they are free, right? That you don't ask anything of them, right? That their rejection doesn't mean anything, you know. And when all your goal is to make them smile, you know, well, you make them smile, then that's mission accomplished. If they don't smile, well, who cares, right? Who cares, you know? Then you might think a small conversation. And then your goal might be a little bigger conversation, right? And when you're talking to people like this, it just feels great. If you do it right, it feels damn good. And you laugh and they reflect you, you know. Learn to love that feeling. You know, that's the essence of it all. It's a very simple essence. And when it clicks, it is so simple, it's mind-blowing that people haven't figured it out more, you know. And I will talk more about that and go more deeply into it, you know, but I guess this is the start of teaching this. I just want to thank everyone so much for reaching out and just pouring so much love into me this last week, you know. It's just been a dream come true. And I want to thank each and every one of you who has reached out for my help or told me your stories, you know. I want to help you. If you are lonely, I want to start matchmaking and finding you friends, right? And teaching you real-world skills to get real-world love and have real-world connection and glow in the real world so people really want to be with you, right? And how to make your presence desirable, to make you feel good. That is a skill. It's a skill, and you can learn it. And if you say you can't, I don't fucking believe it. You know, I will never believe that you can't be loved and you can't people. Fuck that. So, this was Cubbypotamus, and maybe I'll see you around sometime.